Has your beloved soul animal recently passed and you can't even begin to cope with the grief, the loss, and the heartbreak of losing them? Well, I am here to tell you that your animal is still very much alive in spirit. In today's podcast, I will discuss pet loss and talking to animals in spirit that have already crossed the Rainbow Bridge. I hope this podcast will help relieve your grief and sadness and heal your broken heart from losing your beloved animal and help you gain an understanding of the value of communicating with your beloved best friend that has already crossed over. First, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a certified professional animal communicator and pranic healer. I offer remote and in-person animal communication and energy healing for all kinds of animal issues, as well as providing animal communicator training, workshops, and mentoring. And I also speak to animals in spirit that have already crossed over. If you listen to episodes 1 and 2, you will know that animal communication is simply telepathy. Telepathy uses thoughts, words, images, sounds, smells, and feelings, and can be done remotely whether you are in a physical body or not. The same physics laws apply to talking to an animal in spirit. I am always asked by clients, am I a medium? The answer is yes and no. Sometimes a medium sees, hears, and senses uninvited spirits of the dearly departed. I do not do this. I invite an animal in spirit to have a conversation and tell them that their person has sent me to talk to them. So I am directly communicating with your animal using telepathy. In fact, it's easier to talk to an animal in spirit than in a physical body. This is because there is no density of the physical body. The big question is, who am I speaking to? Let's address this by talking about the soul. Keep in mind, this is my personal opinion based on my experiences talking to many animals in spirit as an animal communicator, as well as learning esoteric teachings from pranic healing masters. The heaven realm is not what we were taught in schools or religions. It is not up there or down there. The Rainbow Bridge is a transitional crossing of animal souls. The spirit realm is just a dimensional jump or a different dimensional plane. As I mentioned, we can access animals in spirit telepathically, similar to mediums who talk to animals that have passed. Let's talk about the body versus the soul. First, let's start with the basic fundamentals. The soul and the body are very different things. The soul is the eternal part of you or your animal and goes on after what we call death. The body, on the other hand, is the vessel or the vehicle for the soul to be incarnated. You are not the body. You are the soul, and the same applies to your pet or animal. They are not their physical animal body. Rather, they are the eternal soul. Once the body dies, the soul is extracted from the body vessel through the crown chakra. This is proven by science and shown that the body is a different weight after the soul leaves. In terms of energetics and chakras, when the body is dying, the lower chakras become very inactive and eventually cease to function. The lower chakras are part of the physical and material world and control the muscular skeletal system and really the entire body. This is why when your animal is dying, they are very weak, cannot walk or stand, and do not eat, because all of those functions are controlled by the lower chakras. The higher chakras, on the other hand, are spiritual centers. The crown chakra at the top of the head. So when your body dies, the eternal soul is extracted through the crown chakra or the top of the head. People who can see energy can see this happening right after someone passes. So you can see there is really no such thing as death. It is merely the shedding of the body vehicle and the transition or crossing of the eternal soul. Scientists agree the energy cannot be destroyed, but only changes form. And this is a process happening during what we call death. It is not the end. Since the soul is the eternal part, the soul can be reincarnated and reunited with the person or family over lifetimes. Our soul animals come with us on our earth journeys to be of service to us and to help us with our lessons. Please join me in episode 8, the next episode on soul animals, past lives, and reincarnation to discuss this in more detail. If you listen to the last episode 6, you would know that I can help with the animal's transition and find out if they're ready to leave their body. But how can animal communication help with the immense heartbreak and grief after your animal passes on? I can help alleviate your deep sadness and grief when you have lost your beloved animal. As I mentioned, I can directly communicate with your animal in spirit and answer any questions you may have unanswered. I can find out how they are feeling, how the transition was, if they met up with any other human or family members in the spirit realm, how they enjoyed their life with you, and even if they are coming back to you. I can also do a past life regression if we feel this is an important step in your grief recovery process. As I mentioned, more on this in episode 8, the next episode on soul animals, past lives, and reincarnation. As we discussed in episode 6, the last episode, how long should you wait to talk to your animal once they have crossed over? We talked about Buddhist traditions say you should let the body rest for 4 hours after death so the soul can complete its journey. Hindu traditions chant Om Mani Padme Hum to help the soul transition. Other Judeo-Christian religions provide a rest period for a couple of weeks before trying to talk or engage the departed soul. I shared my personal opinion that you should give your animal a couple of weeks to transition, especially if something traumatic has happened. As I talked about, some animals do not know they have crossed over. This may be true in the case of an accident or some kind of trauma. I have talked to animals that have just crossed over, and it's very dependent on if they had a peaceful or traumatic passing. I would respect their need for rest and transition before talking to them for at least 2 weeks. Here are some specific questions I could ask your animal in spirit. I could find out how their transition was, if they are at peace, if they felt any pain during the transition or before. Many clients feel horribly guilty and want to know that they've made the right decision. I could ask the animal how they felt about being put down at this time. I could ask if they were ready to go at that time, if you hadn't talked to them. I could also ask how they are doing now and how they feel. I could ask them to share where they are now and what it looks like, or if any animals or humans greeted them when they crossed over. If they are with any other animals or humans from the soul family, and what they are doing now, and a whole host of questions if they wish to reincarnate and come back to you, including how to find them, what animal or being they have chosen, what will be the signs, and what they want to share. And most importantly, I could share anything you would like to say or tell your beloved animal. As I mentioned earlier, our animals are part of our soul family and may come back to us over and over again. Animal communication can help so much by healing the hole in our heart after losing your loved one. Let me tell you a personal story of how I healed after my horrible grief after losing my soul dog, Frosty. I talked about this in the last episode as well, but I feel the need to share this in this episode and perhaps the next one. When I adopted my dog Frosty at age 6, he was very aggressive, untrained, defensive, would growl, show teeth, you name it. Soiled in the house, peed, pooped in the house, ran away, bit me, bit other people, you name it. With time, we developed such a deep and loving bond that after his passing, an animal communicator told me that Frosty wanted to communicate this to me. I was not an animal communicator at the time. Frosty shared that he had many past lives with me, but he had a past life by himself as a controlling ruler, and said how much the love that I gave him in this lifetime and what I brought to him in this lifetime completely transcended his anger and his karma, and he was able to move past all the negative emotions because of our love together. And despite this, I grieved for the next 13 years until I became an animal communicator and found out that Frosty had incarnated with me over and over and over again to help me with my very big lessons in this lifetime and many other lifetimes. And I found out that in this lifetime, he was 3 other animals that I had had. And when I found this out, I honestly never cried again after crying and grieving for 13 years. Here are some amazing things that animals have shared with me from the other side. Animals have told me how they are greeted by humans and animal family members. And after the transition, they meet up with many more friends they had along the way. They have shown me that the spirit world changes as they transition. In the beginning, they are in a rest and transition phase, as I mentioned. Sometimes in the beginning, early on, I only see brilliant colors. I see what looks like plasma and bright lights. Some have even shown me a heaven of their own choosing. So if they love the ocean, they have a beach to run on. If they like the woods, they have trees and flowers around them, or hiking trails and mountains. So those were a little bit later on where they had their own choosing of the environment that they want to look like heaven. And then later, they have shown me that it looks much like Earth, but it's a lot cleaner, and I would say the energy of all the beings walking around are a lot lighter and a lot happier and a lot more heart-centered. There's no anger walking around. So more heart-centered, I would say. But the common thing that all the animals shared with me is they were all very, very busy. This is after the transition and the rest period. This isn't early on. This is a little bit later. They were all super busy, hustling and bustling, going here and there. And I'm like, why are you so busy? What are you doing? They shared, more than one animal, many animals shared this with me, that they were busy preparing and planning with their guides and angels as to what they want to do and if they want to come back to their humans. So they were busy meeting with councils and with guides on making decisions on what they would like to do in the spirit realm, or if they have chosen to incarnate again back with their families. They have also told me that they have never left their humans. They are watching out for them every day, and even though we may feel them gone, they are not gone. And sometimes you may even feel them crawl on your bed at night, but they are not gone, and you can connect with them if you choose to connect with them. They are absolutely 100% positively watching out for you also, and not gone. They've also shared with me that they talk to other family animals who are still living, and many animals have even told me that they attend human training school. That's right, I said it, human training school. This is one of my favorite things, and this is more than one animal that has shared this with me. When I asked what that was, they acted like I was asking a silly question and said, I have to train to take care of my human when I come back. What? And we have the audacity to send animals to behavioral or animal training when it's really the other way around. Other animals have told me their sole purposes in the last incarnation and how they incarnated as animals to help their person with their lessons and sometimes even mirror them, just as our spouses, partners, and children mirror us. Check out episode 5 on animal mirroring. I've even had a couple of animals share detailed accounts when they had a human lifetime. That is right, you heard it here. Not all animal communicators agree with this, but I have had personal experiences with clients' animals that gave me specific accounts and details that could be verified historically and Googled, and it was absolutely accurate. So early on, I learned that this is a real thing. And I've had more than one case of this type of thing. More on this in next episode, number 8, on soul animals, reincarnation, and past lives. So domestic animals have shared with me that they were so proud of themselves and the way they touch the hearts of their humans with unconditional love. They have such pride when it comes to when I ask them their sole purpose and their job working with their humans. It's amazing how proud of themselves that they are for doing such a great job. And many animals, larger animals, more exotic animals in human care with zoos and rescue centers have shared with me and told me that they chose their life and this incarnation to be teachers for humanity, that they are front and center and, what we call captive or in human care, it's called now, to be teachers for humanity. As you can see, our beloved animals are not only family, but bring us the most unconditional love we will ever experience as humans. Now let me share with you some great testimonials of people that I feel that I've helped a lot dealing with their heartbreak and their grief after their animal's passing. The first testimonial is a dog named Ku'u Ipo from Hawaii. She said, "It was so comforting and I got closure and so happy to have this information. I like the questions that you asked and I sense the compassion in you. Doing what you are doing, that goes a long way. I got more than I expected and that's a beautiful thing. It's like a slice of your favorite cake with a cherry on top, sealed with a kiss. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you. My heart is happy, light, and grateful. M.W. Kailua Kona, Hawaii." The next testimonial is from a client that had a Persian cat named Rocky. She said, "I love the confirmation of the way I feel inside about him. The bond was confirmed for me. Found it interesting that some people think animals don't have souls. And it was very important and validating for me in everything I thought to be true. The best part was a validation of my relationship and learning and hearing something that you would never have known otherwise. What a cool choice of occupation. I thought I was a cat whisperer. It was great. JP, Cedar Hill, Texas." And the last one is from a client with a terrier named Goldie. "It's heartwarming to be able to feel your dog again. Interesting to be reminded of the little things that were important parts and memories of your life. It helped me to feel close to my dog that is gone and made me feel like my dog is still there. SM, Boca Raton, Florida." Book your animal communication session now. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain, and may even see overnight relief from the grief over losing your beloved animal, as well as opening your mind, heart, and spirit to your deep connections with your animals. See me at animals-speak heartbreak.com for more information. That brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you have a much greater understanding of the value of animal communication in talking to your animals in spirit that have crossed over the Rainbow Bridge. Book your session now. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain, and may even have your grief and despair of losing your beloved soul animal disappear overnight, as well as opening your mind, heart, and spirit to your deep and eternal connection with your animals. And don't forget my story that I shared with you. I cried for 13 years. I really did. I lost my mother, and losing my animal was worse. And a lot of people will tell you that. And I cried over my mother for 3 years, but I cried over my dog for 13 years. And trust me when I say, this is from the bottom of my heart, and I have been there, just like you are there now. And I promise you, this is a huge help in your healing process. I am available for animal communication, and if you have any other animals, energy healing sessions. Also, I have 2 upcoming training workshops every month. If you're interested in becoming an animal communicator, I have workshops for the novice, or you just want to talk to your own animals, or if you want to become a professional animal communicator. For more information on this, please visit my website at animals-speak.com, or you can email me at lolijaneanimalcommunication@gmail.com. Be sure to follow and subscribe for the special segments only available to subscribers. And join us next week on the episode 8, as I mentioned, on soul animals, past lives, and reincarnation. And we'll talk all about doing past life regression as well for yourself and your animals, and bringing the lessons forward from the past lives and from all the incarnations that they're with you. So we'll talk about that next time. And as always, love and gratitude for listening to the Loli Jane Animal Communication and Healing Podcast. This podcast was created, produced, recorded, researched, and edited by Loli Jane, and is a product of Loli Jane Animal Communication and Healing.